Well, you got Montour, you got Stephenson today. How does that match up with the goals that you set out to make this team better heading into the offseason?
Well, I mean, it's an exciting day for the Kraken organization, our fans, right? It goes to show that players want to come to Seattle. They want to play in this organization. They want to play in front of our great fans. And, we think with the addition of Montour, that's an offensive piece on the back end. He's playing 23, 24 minutes for a cup-winning team, brings the Stanley Cup into the locker room with him. And, and Stephenson, just a really good two-way guy, plays with pace, has, sneaky skill set. So, brings 2 cups into the locker room as well. So they checked a lot of boxes, and we're excited to add them to our roster.
When you did that kind of looking at last season, was the lack of offense from the blue line something you guys thought was an area you guys were looking to upgrade?
Well, there's always a trade-off, right? 2 years ago, we were one of the best teams in the league. Offensively, last year, we were one of the worst. Truth is, we're probably somewhere in between, but we got to find out where that is. Defensively last year we were 9th best in the league in goals against. So, there's things you're looking to try and do and try and tweak. I think he'll help with our power play. We got Dunner and him now on the power plays, and Riker's a possibility as well. So I think that helps. And then he's a guy that can skate and join the rush, which is what we're looking for, the way we want to play. And same thing with Stephenson. He's got a lot of pace to his game, and that's the way we like to play.
If you include Riker, you have 7 defensemen on, and how do you kind of see that all working together here?
Well, that's what training camp's for. But that's. You have 7. We carry 7 normally all season long. So we felt comfortable with our 6 before today, and now we feel really good about our 7.
Ron, obviously offense always something you're looking for, but both guys, your feelings about their defensive team?
Yeah, I mean, they're both solid. Montour has been to the Stanley Cup Finals now back-to-back years. And you look at his minutes played during the regular season and the playoffs, and he plays a lot of minutes and plays in a lot of different situations. So not concerned about that. And then same thing with Stephenson. He can play both ends of the rink extremely well. And, when we couldn't get something done with Wenberg at the deadline, it left a big hole for us. So getting Chandler to add to our lineup is a huge addition.
Is he somebody who would play special teams for you as well, you think?
I've seen him playing in all situations, yeah.
Where does this leave you in terms of salary cap flexibility? Do you envision having to make a move to free up space?
Yeah, not at this point. It'll depend on, we've still got Cox scoring with Matty and with Tolvanen, and depending on kind of where those come in, will be sort of where our cap is at. But we've looked at a lot of different scenarios, and we feel comfortable we'll be under the cap and ready to go when the season starts.
7-year deal for both guys at 30 years old. What was it about them that made you comfortable with that kind of term?
Well, at this time of year, you're not getting them if you don't go 7 years a lot of times. But the thing for us is they both skate so well. If you're betting on a 7-year deal, I think it's better to bet on somebody that skates extremely well. Even that's coming from a guy who never skated well and played a long time. But I think it's easier for guys that skate well as they age.
Would you say you guys are still looking to add scoring at this point as the offseason continues on?
No, I think those are probably our 2 big moves. Other than that, we're just looking to kind of fill out depth positions in Coachella Valley, that kind of stuff. So we're working on that. And but other than that, I think we're pretty well set at this point.
This was one of the busier free agency openings that they've had in recent memory. Given what was going on with salary cap threshold being lifted, do you anticipate that you would see a flood like this right off the bat?
Yeah, I always do. I mean, I think the cap was kind of flat for a few years. Now it's starting to move, and I think everybody's looking at where it may go in years 2 and 3 and 4. And so I think as a result, you feel a little bit more comfortable in some of the contracts you're doing at this point, assuming that the cap's going to go up. So I think that certainly played a role into all the activity today.
When's the last time you've seen so much activity in the first couple of hours here as far as money being shelled around across the entire league?
Yeah, you know what? I really wasn't watching it early. With Montour, we actually had permission from Florida. So, but with Stephenson, get on the phone with him right at 9 o'clock this morning and tried to convince him that this is the place he should be. So I was busy doing that while everything else was going on those first few minutes. But it's an exciting day, and there's a lot of money being spent today.
Said in the past that 2 days scare you more than any other days on the calendar, July 1st being one of them. So this is kind of uncharacteristic for you. What was it about, I guess, where the team is at right now? Kind of do something so uncharacteristic? And was there any maybe pressure from ownership to contend right away?
No, I mean, ownership has always been from day one. I have the green light to spend to the cap, and they want to compete. They want to win, and that's always been the plan here. We tried to manage our cap, as well as we can. We got to the point this year where we felt these were two players that we needed in our lineup to help us be successful. It's the first time I've ever done 7-year contracts. It's the first time we've ever put signing bonus in my 8 years as a GM. So there's certain things that we did that we don't normally do, but I think coming out of COVID, things are going to change a little bit, and this is kind of the start of that.
A couple of draft questions. One is, what do your scouts know about Finnish goaltenders that the rest of the league doesn't? Because it seems like you cornered the market.
Yeah, so we have an amateur scout based in Finland who is a former goaltender. That's one. We have Andrew Allen that does goaltending scouting for us on the amateur side. That's two. I think sometimes it's just you have your list, and it depends how the list falls. And this year we were sitting there, and we said, okay, there's a 6'4+ Finnish goaltender. We think that's the guy to take at this point, and that's why we did it. So certainly, the previous couple guys we've taken look like they're solid goaltenders, and we think this guy's a good prospect as well.
And the follow-up, how much pause, if any, did Villeneuve's suspension and the reasons behind the suspension give you before you decided to draft him?
No, we do our due diligence on every player. There's players that if we don't feel comfortable with, we take them off our list. We'd rather do that than draft a player. In this case, I think it was maybe a little bit bigger than what was behind the scenes, but our intel and stuff, I mean, he's still friends with the kid that, the accusations were against. He's still friends with the kid that, allegedly reported it. So I think it was blown a little bit more out of proportion. But I will tell you, when he's on the ice, people are going to know he's on the ice because he's that kind of player.
Glenn mentioned Finnish goaltenders, but the team hasn't only ever drafted Finnish goaltenders. Do you have a status update kind of on Semyon Kryazovoi?
Yeah, he's still in Russia playing. Had some conversations with Dan Milstein. He said he's open for business, so we'll reach out to him and have a conversation and see if there's a way to get him out of Russia and over here at some point.
You gave John Hayden a one-way contract. I mean, what does that say about, the plans for him this coming season and where he has a chance to fit?
Yeah, John, he had a real good season down there, had a real good playoffs. And, he's got a dimension that we don't have in our lineup, a little bit of toughness. So I think for us, that was an easy decision to make, to give him the one-way contract. And certainly he has a relationship with Dan. Dan has a relationship with him. And, I think from John's standpoint, it makes perfect sense to go with a guy that's now coaching the NHL team and especially on a one-way contract. So expect him to come into camp and push hard for a job with the big club.
Any updates you can give at this point on assistant coaching situation and even like the contracts for Maddie and Elliott? Are those coming along?
Yeah, so still working through coaching decisions up here to add to Dan's staff, and then hopefully have some of those by the end of the week, and then still talking on some people on the head coaching job in Coachella there. And with Tolvi and Maddie, we are having conversations, have more scheduled with Maddie's camp tomorrow. So we're moving forward, but we're not there yet.
Do you expect that Dave Lowry is remaining as a part of the staff?
Dave is part of the staff for sure, yep.
With speaking of goaltending, you brought Stezka back for Coachella Valley. Kind of how do you feel that position for you guys now with Joey and Phil up here and Coco maybe coming over from
Yeah, so Joey and Gruby will be here. Stezka will slot in as our number 3 as a starter in Coachella. And then Coco will come over next year. And we also signed Victor Osman, the free agent goaltender, this past year. And we're looking to re-sign Jack LaFontaine. So those will be the 6 guys in our system. The key with both Coco and Osman is we want them playing. So, if Ellis is getting the starts and they're sitting there, we'll probably flip them out back and forth with Casey and Coachella Valley just to make sure they're playing hockey, because that's the most important thing for those 2 guys at this point.
Is there any trade protection on the Montour-Stephenson deals?
Yes, they both have no trade protection in the contract. It's full early in the contract, and then it drops to lesser amount as the contract moves along.